Greetings, today on my Focus RS I am installing the clutch assist spring upgrade from Steeda. Here it is then, the Steeda Focus RS and also for ST clutch assist spring, and this particular configuration, as you will be able to see, also has the full perch setup. This is a configuration that wasn't available originally. Originally Steeda just provided the spring replacement and then you had to hammer your stock perch apart and then fit the spring and then put it back together, which was fine of course, and it was a lot more inexpensive. But the thing about these perches is that taking them apart, they're prone to breaking, which is obviously a bad thing. If you break your perch, then you're kind of screwed and you have to go and get a new one from Ford, and I'm sure they're not particularly cheap. So Steeda then started making and selling them pre-assembled with a complete replacement perch, which is what this is. So it just removes that potential for any kind of disaster and also makes installation a lot quicker and simpler. So that's absolutely awesome, of course. So as to the reason why we need to change the spring, you may be familiar with this phenomena of what some people would call bunny hopping. So you push the clutch in, you let it out, and then it starts to engage, and then at the very end it just sort of pangs up, which obviously is not so great. I mean, you do get used to it very quickly. I've been driving the RS for quite a long time now, of course, and I've got used to it, but I am still aware that it still exists. I believe what's happening is that in stock configuration, the stock spring is very harsh. So whenever you get near the end of the pedal travel and the spring sort of kicks in, it is just pushing really hard and just does that pang. So what I have then with the Steeda spring is a much more calculated spring rate, just to smooth that out and make the pedal feel much nicer, very, very simply. Some people say that you don't necessarily need to even have the spring in there at all, but that is not such a good idea, because that can mean that the pedal won't return all the way to the up position, which can lead to slave cylinder damage, which is obviously not what you want. Replacing it with a better spring is the way to go. So yes, you can see the part number is 5557031. Of course, if you want to get the spring just on its own, you still can do from Steeda. It is a cheaper option to go for, of course, and that part number is 5557028 for the spring only. Backed by a lifetime warranty, which is awesome from Steeda. Seems to be in stock pretty much all the time. Like I was saying, installation should be fairly simple. We just need to remove the stock perch with the spring and all in there, get this in, replace it, and off we go. So let's head over to the car and get installation started. Alright, in the car then, obviously this is the clutch pedal, and the clutch spring that we are replacing, you have to get right up in here. You can see it just right there up in the background. So pushing the pedal in with my hand just, and then bringing it out. It's maybe hard to see that last like pop, but it's kind of like there. So that's kind of what we're talking about. You know, it's like dead smooth up until that last bit. You know, you push it in and it's like boom. Pretty predictable until the end. So that is what we hope to smooth out with our new Steeda clutch spring. So of course we have to get the stock spring out. Okay, to do this, we want to push the pedal all the way in so that the spring is under the least amount of load. Then I'm going to use this. This is an extension with an 11mm socket just on the end, and I'm going to use that to push right at the base here. And then it's got two little arms either side, and we just need to sort of push that up and back, and then there's like holes where they can be released and will come out. Now of course, whenever we push this in, we are going to be compressing the spring a bit, so it could well still fly back at us, so do just be aware of that. You don't really want to take the spring in the face. I had a thought there, just for some extra safety, what if I put a cable tie around the spring, because then if it does ping towards me, then it should at least kind of be held by the cable tie and not smack me in the face. So it seems like an idea anyway. Ugh. So yeah, that worked. Came out and the cable tie didn't allow it to smack me in the face. So actually, I would say cable tie is a pretty good idea. So now that those two little arms are out, just pops right off. And it's covered in lots of nice grease. Alright then, with the stock spring and perch out of the car, we can do a side-by-side comparison then. And you can see quite clearly that the stock spring is way thicker than the Steeda spring. So, yeah, doing the squish test just with my fingers, that is pretty tough to squash, to compress, whereas the Steeda spring is much easier to do. It's that very heavy stiffness that is causing us to have a sort of like sudden movement in the return of the pedal, so we should get much nicer pedal feel just in general, in fact, with the Steeda spring, without losing functionality of having the spring there, which of course, as we said earlier, if you didn't have a spring at all, that would be a bad thing. Now you can also see the amount of quite heavy looking grease that is on this. I believe that was from one time whenever I took the car into Ford for a service. I mentioned that there was a bit of a creaking noise coming from the pedal, and I believe their solution was to just lob a load of grease on here. The Steeda spring with perch does come with some grease on the inside there, doesn't have any on the white part, so I might just put a little bit of white lightning on there or something, just to add a little bit of extra lubrication. You can never have too much, right? It's totally clear, as you can see, so I'll just get some in here in this sort of semicircular area, just grease it up, and then just the wee remnants that are on my fingers I'll get onto these little plastic arm things just to help them go in there. Alright, cool. So that's basically that ready to go into the car. Now, of course, if you were just doing the Steeda spring and you were reusing your original perch, you would have to, at this point, separate the black part and the white part, and then get the spring out, put the new spring in, and then click it back together. So yes, we are now ready to go back to the car with our new Steeda perch. Okay then, back in the car. We can get rid of this cable tie, don't need that no more. So yes, the process is going to be the exact opposite. We will get the white part positioned up here first. So obviously it's a semicircle, so it just goes right on there. And then we'll just rotate this around and get it in the two holes at the side. And then that should hopefully then pop back down into place. So that does kind of just like click in there. So then we rotate that black bit around. So because the Steeda spring is so much less like heavy, you just do that with your fingers, and you want to get it in at the left hand side first because that is completely closed like hole, whereas then once you get that position, the little arm bit on the side, you can then like position the right hand side, which is open, and then it just sort of like slides down and in, and that's it. Installation is complete. Right, so pushing it in and then letting it up. Yeah, it just comes up and just, it doesn't have that pang that we were talking about earlier, which is nice. So yeah, might as well go and see what it's like actually with my feet. So out in the car then, changing gear, using the clutch with our new clutch spring, it just, I would say it kind of feels much more like it should feel, if that makes sense. Like that harshness that I've been talking about a few times in this video already is completely gone. Like the pedal, whenever you push it, you just feel the clutch disengaging and engaging, and that's it. And then of course it is returning all the way up to the top because we do have our spring. It's exactly what you would want without that added distraction of the pedal just picking up at you at the end. So great job from Steeda, absolutely fantastic. It works. That's as simple as that. It works and it's great. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I hope you like it as much as I do, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe for more content to come very, very soon. Thank you once again. Goodbye.